Okay, so a lot of people wanted to know what I used as a para endurance rider compared to the normal able-bodied endurance riders. Now a lot of it isn't actually against the rules. I don't have very many allowances made, alright? So a lot of them are things that I've done that are allowed anyway. So I have quite thick reins because I can't always have a decent grip, especially when my fingers start to spasm. And they're also really comfy to be able to bridge and use as one hand. You probably noticed that I ride in a Western saddle. It's partly because I've got a nice deep seat on it, which gives me loads of support, and I got the horn that I can hang on to when I start to feel really weak and I haven't got the grip in my legs. I have cage stirrups, which a lot of endurance riders use anyway because they're really comfortable. They stop my foot going all the way through. If I have normal stirrups, my foot actually just does go right through them, and trying to have it back enough that it doesn't go through, I then come out the other way. And once I've lost my stirrup, I really struggle to get it back myself. I wear walking boots because they've got a really tight grip on them. So usually your riding boots, you're used to having a smooth sole. I don't, because if I have a smooth sole again, I'll just slip out of the stirrup. And out on course, I haven't got anyone there to help me put my foot back in. The main bit of kit that I have that other endurance riders are not allowed is a schooling whip. So usually you're allowed a normal length whip, like you would for any other equine discipline, but because my legs are so weak, I get to use a schooling whip, so I've got that as a bit of backup. So Loki's used to having it on his shoulder to ask him to move over, just behind where my leg is, in place of my leg, and also across his hindquarters to ask him not to move those out. Say a car's coming, I'd lay this across his hindquarters rather than putting my leg back. Usually you put your leg back behind the girth to ask your horse to keep its hindquarters over. If I do that, then I'm likely to have my hip slip out of its joint, which obviously again I don't want that out on a course. No. The only other adaptations I have is I'm allowed to take an escort rider with me. So if there's a ride that's got a lot of gates on it and those gates aren't going to be manned, then I'm allowed to have somebody with me on their own horse. They have one of my crew tabards on. It will say E11 because my competition number is 11. I'll be P11 for para 11 and my crew are all C11 for crew 11. Now they'll be allowed to come with me, they will do the gates for me. They could also help me reading a map. Usually hanging off of here, I've got a map of our route. If I'm struggling to be able to keep myself in the saddle and keep going and read a map or anything like that, they can be doing that for me. Touch wood, I've not had to have one to do that as yet, but if I was to get a ride that's got lots of gates on it, I would probably have an escort rider with me. Really? So that's the only adaptations that we use on the rides. For the vettings, I can't take him into the vetting because I can't run with him. So I stay on the outside of the ring just to keep his focus because he tends to listen to me more than he does anyone else. And then my partner, who's my crew, or whoever's with me as a crew on the day, will take him in and they'll do the vetting and the trot up for me so that they can actually trot him up properly, because if I try to do it, I will fall flat on my face and probably pop something out and then people get freaked out. So there you go. Any questions, you can pop them in the comments. I can do some future videos on them, or I'll just answer you in the comments. Oh, and I have an absolutely amazing horse. He's probably my biggest bit of kit.